Welcome back. It's your host, my paternal family member, and I have 3 reasons why you should stop using samples. Hold up. I'm not
Daddy's
a
working.
purist or old head who doesn't believe that you're a real musician or producer if you use samples or loops or MIDI or whatever it is that makes this easy and creative for you. But I do have some ideas as to what you can do as an alternative to sampling and realistically what the reasons are. I used to use samples a lot. I had a period when I started where I didn't use samples because I didn't know much about it. And then I got into a period where I was using loops on nearly every single piece of music that I made. And I started to feel uncreative, unmotivated, unoriginal, and it made me subsequently delete my whole samples folder. Now, what I gained from that is this now opinion where I'm a fence sitter, where I do use samples sometimes and other times I don't. And I always want to check myself and make sure that I'm trying to be as original as possible and I'm not just throwing a loop with a beat um, on it. But all that to say, the 3 reasons why you should maybe give yourself a break from samples is one, creativity, two, originality, and three, it'll make you better. You'll find other ways to achieve whatever result it is you're trying to get. And yeah, just want to make a little example because I've been using a lot of samples, a lot of MIDI and stuff like that, and I think I'm I was starting to fall into a little bit of laziness and taking the musicianship away from my craft. Now, if you don't have like the ability to play an instrument and you are really good at sample manipulation, by all means, make that your thing. But if you want to get better, you want to expand your workflow, expand your creativity, your originality, there's a few things you can do. But yeah, we're not going to use any samples. And yeah, let's make this a loopless beat. Let's see what we can do. So I'm starting with a piano. Just the grandeur. It's a contact instrument, and yeah, we're just gonna put some chords down and pretty much go from there. So what's the point, right? I could have easily gotten a loop, a piano loop, right? But I played it myself. Now, obviously, this has the pretense of me being having the ability, the skill, the knowledge, the talent to actually play the piano, right? If you play an instrument, use it. Basically, what I mean is rather than taking the path of least resistance every single time and getting yourself a loop or even some MIDI that someone else has made for you, you can maybe play some stuff yourself. Every single person has the ability to figure something out on an instrument. But there's endless tutorials and ways to make playing keys or guitar or something like that easy for yourself so that you can get some musical ideas out, come up with some new stuff, and maybe unlock something that you didn't know was in there. Now, alongside that, if you don't care to learn an instrument, because it takes practice, right? There's other tools. There's plenty of like plugin software programs and stuff like that that can help you come up with ideas. Look at this. Ableton itself has you have a scale tool, you have a chords tool, and I'm just playing one key at a time. And I'm not using samples for real. It's definitely beneficial to kind of search for ideas, search for different tools and stuff like that. And if you have a way to get them, most DAWs these days have some sort of chord mode. Machine has a great one that I used to use a fairly good bit sometimes when I didn't have a keyboard and I was just on the pads. You can use tools like Scalar 2 from Plugin Boutique. You can generate all kinds of different like chords and stuff like that. And then you're getting something new. You're having an open mind and you're not using something that every single other person out there has access to. I think that's probably one of the worst things about sample companies right now. Um and that's in regards to like Splice, Loop Cloud, stuff like that. As like anybody with a subscription has access to the same samples as you. And that kind of threw me off in the beginning too. Like I would like make a song, and then I would be at the store at like Michaels or something like that, and I'm listening to the music they're playing. I'm like, this sounds familiar. Oh, they used a sample that I used. That one Drake song. They just took the loop and then put drums on it. They didn't change the loop at all. And that's the kind of risk that you take. But if you kind of look around and see what your tools are, learn how to use your DAW and the tools that are included with it, Ableton has a lot of cool MIDI stuff, MIDI effects and stuff like that that can really help, even if you don't know how to play an instrument. That's my take here. Is just look around, see what you have access to, and use it. Now I feel creative. I feel that spark of originality that makes me want to move forward and put some drums on this. I just went into Machine, opened up my favorite expansion, which is Crate Cuts, got out my favorite kit, which is the Good Coffee kit, and I'm just gonna use it to lay the drums down on the track here. There we go. And like, see, and that's cool too, right? I've been using drum loops, right? Drum loops are super useful, save me a lot of time. They're nice, they're easy, and they usually have like cool ideas that I would have probably never thought of. But look how cool this is. I just played my own drums on this, and it makes me better at this. It's a good practice. And it's it's my own idea. It's not super duper quantized. It's got some swing to it, some pocket to it. It feels, I feel like a musician right now, and I think that's kind of cool, kind of important. But yeah, I'm gonna take this loop right here. Cool. It warped itself. Undo. And now, cool. I can delete this machine track, and now I have a drum loop, my own drum loop. Thing is, I could save it and keep this drum loop forever. It's one of my own samples that I made. By the way, hit me up if y'all want a sample pack. I might make y'all a little pack of loops. Like I said, I'm not against sampling. By all means. Said's loop. Cool. Let's add some bass to it, right? Key bass. Look, playing around with this bass gave me an idea for another bass line. I It's probably not gonna go in this song, but look at that. Playing my own loops is working out, man. It's working out. I'm making my own music. I'm not saying that if you sample, you're not making your own music. I'm just saying, originality wise, I'm the one coming up with these ideas, which just feels good. And also, it's gonna make me better in the future. Like when I do go to use a sample or a loop, I might say, let me take that away and put my own stuff in there. Or I might just use something that I would have never thought of because 2 weeks ago I was making this and it sounded like this and yada yada yada, whatever. You get the idea. Originality, creativity, those are like two of I need to stop yapping. Let's make this bass line. All right, now I want to fill this beat out a little bit. One of my favorite ways to fill out a beat and like add more depth, space, it's like a spatial feel to it, is to duplicate the chord progression and then change the instrument. So I got a preset out of Glaze 2. I just adjusted some of the effects and some of the macros down here. And now I have this sound along with everything else. I think it sounds lovely. It's a coincidence that we ended up with lo-fi here, but like I said, I think it sounds lovely. And if you've been to my channel before, you know I like adding like vocal loops and stuff like that to my music. And I think a good way to do that here without searching for a vocal sample or vocal loop is to put it in ourselves. I've been having a lot of fun doing that since I started using Ableton because trying to do it in Machine is a pain, bro. But super easy to just go ahead and put some vocals in here for this beat in Ableton Live. Let's do a little bit of singing. Yay, yay.
Yeah, maybe we need some words or something.
So what am I replacing? My use of vocal loops. I use a lot of vocal loops in my music. I love like using arcade, for instance. That hooked line is fire. It is nasty. I love using hooked because I love vocal loops. I love that vocalese element in music. It just sounds so nice, so cool, and the phrasing and all that good stuff. But this allows me to make my own vocal loops, maybe do a little bit of writing, come up with what sometimes ends up being a whole song idea with vocals on it. My last song that just came out, All Night, started like that. I was making a beat. I wanted to throw some vocals on it, and I ended up with an actual song. It's not like a crazy song or anything like that. It sounds like a lot of the other stuff I made, but it's my voice on it, and I haven't put vocals on a song in years. So go check out All Night. It's a fire song that I made with my voice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, now you got me feeling like I might go home. I don't even really wanna fight no more. I don't wanna stay up all night no more. All about the bark, but the bite don't show. Now you got me feeling like I might go home. I don't even really wanna fight no more. I don't wanna stay up all night no more. All about the bark, but the bite don't show. Amazing, amazing. We got ourselves a vocal loop. We feel so creative and original. No, for real, like, I'm having a blast, man. I should do this more, right? You should do this.
Look where that's gotten us. I'm gonna do some production here, and we'll see what we can get these vocals to sound like. Because right now they sound, just like some dry vocals that, not dry vocals, but just some vocals that I put in here. Let's put some effects on them. I'll put them in a group, pan them a little bit, do some extra stuff, and we're gonna see what happens. Yeah, we ended up with something I think is fairly cool.
Now you got me feeling like I might go home. I don't even really wanna fight no more. I don't wanna stay up all night no more. All about the bark, but the bite don't show.
What do we do? So I added an EQ to this group, scooped out the mids a little bit to give the vocal somewhere to be, somewhere to sit. I adjusted the knock plugin on the drums. I added some saturation and some EQ to, so I added the black box saturated to the bass, along with some EQ, just a high cut. Then for the group with the vocals, I actually duplicated the second vocal down to another track so that I could put little altar boy on it because I love playing with the formant on vocals. It sounds like this.
Now you got me feeling like I might go home. I don't even really wanna fight no more. I don't wanna stay up all night no more. All about the bark, but the bite don't show.
Just to add a little bit of texture and depth. The other ones, they are all just this vocal chain that I have. I could tell you it's my vocal chain, but it's really not nothing crazy. It's like a normal vocal chain. But for the group, I added ROM for some reverb. I just added the wooden room preset and then I adjusted it a little bit to give it some depth. I added fresh air and I also added some EQ with Pro Q3 because the vocal was sounding kind of harsh. Just took out some frequencies that I didn't like. Um, Other than that, not much to it at this point. I'm going to start duplicating some things for arrangement, add some transitions and whatnot, maybe a different drum pattern and some different instrumentation or sound selection for the chord progression. We might add a different chord progression, have a bridge in there or something like that. But that's for whenever I come back to doing this. For now, yeah, I think I'm done with this one for now. I definitely want to go back and finish it because it sounds really cool. I got some really, really cool ideas down. Even though it's just a loop right now, I didn't use any samples. I didn't use any loops, any MIDI. I didn't use a drum loop or anything like that. Everything came from right in here, baby, with these two hands. And Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to like discredit sampling or anything like that. I think sampling is amazing, especially if you get really good at sample manipulation. But I mean, just to like take a little break, a little step back, because I've been using a lot of MIDI. I've been using a lot of samples and loops and stuff like that here recently. So it's felt really good. I mean, this really unlocked some inspiration and creativity in my brain, in my mind. And I think it can do the same for you. So if you've been heavily relying on loops and samples and whatnot lately, take a little break. See what you can come up with your own two hands, your own brain, your own talent, skill, whatever it is that you call it. And it'll probably it'll probably benefit you, man. You'll probably come out with something real, real nice. Probably better than this. I mean, this is just me off of a couple hours of sleep and throwing some stuff down. But I think I came out with something pretty cool. Maybe I can resample this into something. But I definitely intend to finish it. So definitely keep an eye out. Look for it. See if you see it on my channel. But yeah, like I said, don't not sample. Just take a little break. Anyway, catch y'all in the next one. Subscribe.
Now you got me feeling like I might